Good morning, children. Welcome back to the school. Welcome back to your studies after your Diwali breaks. And very happy belated Children's Day to each one of you. Times are difficult, but together we shall overcome all these difficult times. We shall meet soon. This difficult part of this COVID-19 shall pass. We are waiting, we are hoping for the best days to come wherein we are interacting with each other together. Okay, whatsoever the times are, we shall overcome them together. Now, getting back to our English classes. Before the Diwali breaks, I made you do the poem Animals, the assignments of that poem. I shall merge with any of the class and we shall do it together anytime, whenever there is requirement. Accordingly, we shall do it. Right now, I'm beginning with Unit 7, Part 1, A Baker from Goa. Unit 7, Glimpses of India. When we talk about India, the very first thought that comes to our mind is the unity in diversity of India. The geopolitical situation of India, how it welcomes, how it merges the different cultures, the different region, the different religions, the different languages. This part also means this particular unit also has 3 parts in it. These 3 parts individually discuss about the 3 tourist destinations of India, the 3 tourist destinations wherein, for each part the author is different, and the author of, when he talks about that particular part, he would tell us about the culture of that part along with the specialized items or the history or the special features which were associated in the past with this place. Okay, the very first part talks about Goa, and the name of the part is A Baker from Goa. Why specifically Goa and then Baker from Goa? See, Goa in the past had been ruled by the Portuguese. So till date, we can find the influence of those people in the culture of Goa. And when we find its influence till date, obviously the people of that region would be dressed up that way, would be speaking that way, the buildings would be designed that way. You understand that how that influence takes over in a particular place. And another thing is why the author talks about baker, because in Goa, it is one of the conventional profession which was considered profitable as well. And it existed in the past where the people were very fond of the breads and the different makings, sizes and the designs and the shapes in which the bread was available. And how till date there are some people who are involved in this profession. So originally those Portuguese people may be no more, but the descendants, they are still there, and many of them are still following that conventional profession. So let's start with the chapter and discuss it together. A Baker from Goa. This is a pen portrait of a traditional Goan village baker who still has an important place in his society. Our elders means here the narrator or the author talks about. Our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically. Reminiscing is recalling, nostalgically is thinking about the past. So together the meaning here is thinking fondly of the past memories. So our elders are often heard reminiscing nostalgically about those good old Portuguese days. Author tells us about. Okay, so you may have heard your grandparents, "Hamare zamane mein aisa, hamare zamane mein aisa." So that's what something like this, which the author tries to tell us, that they recall nostalgically about the good old Portuguese days. Why Portuguese? Because I told you that Goa was once ruled by these people. So the region is highly influenced by them. So the Portuguese and their famous loaves of bread. Those eaters of loaves might have vanished because those Portuguese enjoyed bread a lot. So they are no more, but the makers are still there. We still have amongst us the mixers, the molders, and those who bake the loaves. Mixers here refers to the people who used to make that dough for making the bread. Molders refers to the people who used to give the required shape to that dough batter, and those who bake those loaves. Those age-old, time-tested furnaces still exist. Furnaces refers to the fireplace where they used to bake it. There were no big ovens in those times. So the fireplace or the hearth where they used to bake the bread. The fire in the furnaces has not yet been extinguished. Not yet been extinguished means many people are still into this business. The thud and the jingle. The thud sound is the heavy sound when something very heavy is repeatedly tapped or struck against a very heavy surface, and jingle refers to the ringing sound. So here the author tells that we can still recall the thud and the jingle of the traditional baker's bamboo. Okay, whenever the baker used to come to sell his bread, he used to carry a staff with him. Staff is thicker than a stick. Okay, one is a dandi, another is a lathi. You understand the difference, dandi and danda. So one was the stick, another is the staff, and here this baker used to carry a staff which had a bell attached to it. So whenever he used to come, he used to give a thud and a jingle, both together. And that sound used to attract the children because they knew very well with that sound, the thud and the jingle, and they associated that the baker had come. Children used to desperately wait for him. So the traditional baker's bamboo heralding his arrival in the morning. Heralding is announcing, घोषणा करना कि baker आ गया है. Okay, so the children, how excited they were when they heard that sound. And this can still be heard in some places. Maybe the father is not alive, but the son still carries on the family profession. These bakers are even today known as padders in Goa. Okay, so the name still exists till date. Those bakers, we call them as bakers in North India, but when it comes about specifically Goa, they are called padders only. The name is still there. During our childhood in Goa, the baker used to be our friend, companion, and guide. He used to come at least twice a day. Once when he set out in the morning on his selling round, and then again when he returned after emptying his huge basket. Emptying his huge basket means selling away with all the products which he had carried in the morning. The jingling thud of his bamboo woke us up from the sleep, and we ran to meet and greet him. The children, how excited, how happy they were when they heard him coming. Why was it so? Was it for the love of the loaf which they used to run for? Not at all. The loaves were bought by some Pasquine or the Bastine, the maid servant of the house. So the author recalls that we never used to run for the loaves of bread. There was something else for which we used to love his arrival. Something else. Now what was that something else? Because according to the children, the loaves or the groceries or the other things, they were bought by the maid servants. But what made us feel excited? What we longed for were those bread bangles which we chose carefully. Bread bangles are the round shaped bread which is sweet. So the children loved enjoying it. The bread bangles which we chose carefully, sometimes it was sweet bread of a special make. Make here refers to the design, the way, the shape it had been baked. So the children relished it, they enjoyed it. They waited for the padder so that when he comes, we would be buying those bread bangles from him. The baker made his musical entry on the scene with the jung jung sound of his specially made bamboo staff, the staff which I already introduced you to. One hand supported the basket on his head and the other banged the bamboo on the ground. So this way he used to regularly thump, give a thud, and then another hand he used to support the basket. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. So whenever any customer came to buy the things, he would place that basket onto that staff which he carried. We kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke. Obviously, the kids would be buying those sweet bangles at a very low price. But that lady who had come to buy the grocery for the home, she would be paying more amount. So that padder also used to greet the women, but he used to scold the little ones. Mild rebuke means dheere se daatna. That was a lovingly a scolding given to the children to wait or sit aside. Till then, he would be greeting and attending all those women who had come to buy profitable things from him. So we kids were pushed aside with a mild rebuke, and the loaves would be delivered to the servant. But we would not give up. Means it was not that after the scolding they would leave. They used to remain there only, the children. We would climb a bench or the parapet and peep into the basket. Parapet refers to the roadside benches. They may be the wooden ones, they may be the iron ones, and they may be made out of stone. So the benches, the roadside benches. So bench, parapet, and peep into the basket, and somehow I can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves. Loaves for the elders and the bangles were for the children. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth and wash our mouths properly. And why should we? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? Probably the present toothbrushes did not exist then, and there was some different way in which they used to brush their teeth with a mango leaf. And the child said that they enjoyed those sweet breads to that an extent that as soon as they heard the sound of that padder coming, they used to forget about brushing their teeth even. Why was it necessary at all to brush the teeth? The tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea would wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. So like a child gives an excuse of not brushing the teeth at the right moment, the author is also giving an excuse here that he feels that enjoying those sweet bread bangles was much more important than brushing the teeth according to him. He would enjoy the bread, he would have a hot cup of tea, and there was no need to brush the teeth then. You need not follow whatever the author said just now. Okay, you have to brush your teeth and then only enjoy your breakfast. Okay, marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as the ball. This word ball is a short form of the word bolinas, which also we would come across later. And whenever you are writing these words like the ball or the bolinas or the padder, please put them in single inverted comma, because throughout the chapter the author means in the book, they may have put them in a different font. But when you are writing in your answer sheet, you would write in single inverted commas. Known as the ball, just as a party or a feast loses its charm without bread. So without the bread, there's no party. So same way, the sweetbreads were essential for any of the feast. Not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village. The lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. Means here they say that those breads had become a part of their traditions and rituals even. Any lady who's getting her daughter engaged, it was essential for her. See, the word must has been used here. Must prepare means it was an obligation for her. She has to do it. She has to make those sandwiches. So how that baking, how those breads had become an important part of the existence of bakery in Goa. So she had to prepare sandwiches on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. Cakes and bolinas are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. Bolinas, okay, I told you the short form, the word given in the second line, balls. They are a must for Christmas and other festivals. Thus, the presence of the baker's furnace in the village is absolutely essential. The baker or bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress known as the kabai. Now this again in single inverted commas when you write the answers in the copy. It was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. In our childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full length ones and longer than the half pants. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites the comment that that person is dressed like a padder. So those special sizes of the pants had become a synonym to the identity of a padder. So anyone, the people of Goa say anyone who would be wearing a pant which was longer than the half pants and shorter than the long ones, they would start calling that person to be a padder. The baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. Many people do the same way, the grocery part, then the milkman also, all his accounts, by the end of the month, how it was managed. Monthly accounts used to be recorded in some wall in pencil. So he also used to maintain the accounts, and the women of the house also used to maintain the account that how the payment would be made later by the end of the month. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the old days. Profitable means the bakers used to earn a considerable amount out of it. The baker and his family never starved. They flourished because they were earning a lot. He, his family and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. So by their dressing, by their eating habits, anyone could make out that they were minting money out of this profitable business. Their plump physique was an open testimony to this. Plump physique means someone who's like a very pleasantly fat kind of a person. Okay. So open testimony to this. Testimony means something which was clearly visible. Evidence to it that yes, he was earning a lot of amount. Even today, any person with a jackfruit-like physical appearance, jackfruit, the name is the jackfruit, but basically it's a vegetable which your mama cooks very frequently. Every week probably she cooks because jackfruit is considered to be the richest source of calcium. What exactly is jackfruit? You all know very well. So any person with a jackfruit-like physical appearance is easily compared to a baker because jackfruit is round in shape, and the baker, who was a prosperous person, earned a lot. He also was having that plump appearance, a golu molu kind of an appearance with a round belly. So till date, any person who has that shape of the body, he is considered to be a padder. Okay. With this, we finish with our part 1. I am sharing the answers of the part 1 with you just now itself. Kindly note down the answers. Baker from Goa. What are the elders in Goa nostalgic about? The elders in Goa are nostalgic about the good old Portuguese days and the love of bread and loaves. The writer says that the eaters of loaves have left, but the makers still exist. Is bread making still popular in Goa? How do you know? Yes, bread making is still popular in Goa. This is very clear from the narrator's statement that the eaters have gone away, leaving